Okay, students, until the yesterday topic, we are clearly concluded this. What is meant by excretion? What is the process involved in excretion? How the animals, unicellular organisms, and multicellular organisms, and the plants, how they are excreted their waste materials completely. Even though the excreted organs are absent completely in the plants, they can automatically, they can get rid of their waste materials from the body to out by several means. Okay. Today, last but not least topic for this topic, na, a small conclusion for the excretion. Okay, a clear conclusion for the excretion today. Already you observed the classes there regularly. Okay, clearly what is meant by excretion? Okay, what is meant by excretion means elimination of unwanted materials from the body to out, which is commonly called as excretion. Already I told you previously, there is no factory in the world without generating any waste material from the factory itself. Even any kind of material, even any kind of product is produced, a kind of waste matter is produced automatically. This waste material compulsory ejected from the particular place, otherwise they can also create something panic. At the same time, in a living body also, during the metabolic activities during the metabolic activities, a kind of a separate kind of waste materials are generated. These waste materials can automatically eliminated or ejected from the body itself, which is commonly called as excretion. What might be happen if the excretion process is absent? If the excretion process is not occurred clearly in the plants and animals, otherwise this kind of waste materials when they are generated in the body, they can might be caused as a toxins. A dangerous chemicals may automatically produce in the body itself. They can create a panic to the particular organism, and the organism will ultimately die soon. Are clearly? So, how unicellular organisms, how multicellular organisms can process their waste materials from the body out? See, first of all, the unicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms, the waste materials are simply transported out from the body by the simple mechanism is commonly called as diffusion. Number of times I told you, number of times I told you the what is the process called diffusion. A simple process transporting the materials from higher concentration to lower concentration. Sometimes, along with the diffusion, osmosis mechanism also involved in the process of along with this particular diffusion. Okay, see that what is clearly excretion. So, during the metabolic activities of the plants, for example, photosynthesis, respiration, for example, one more thing is called digestion. These three are some examples of metabolic activities. What kind of materials are produced in the end of the photosynthesis? So, for example, at the end of the photosynthesis, oxygen and glucose molecules, for example, water and C6H12O6. These two are mostly commonly called as a excretory materials. Of course, glucose molecules also produced. Okay. So, here the process of respiration, carbon dioxide, water plus energy. Here, the carbon dioxide and water molecules are mostly said that excretory materials. Okay. What the process of digestion? Unwanted material that is commonly called as fecal discharge, along with some amount of salts. These are the materials are ejected from the body out. Any kind of metabolic activity, if you are taken, a kind of a waste material that should be produced. Here, our topic is what is meant by excretion. Here, clearly understood, excretion is said to be that elimination of nitrogenous waste materials from the body to out is called as excretion. See clearly that elimination of nitrogenous waste compounds from the body to out is called as excretion. Here, the word excretion, it is derived from Latin language. Our biological words are mostly deriving from either Greek or Latin. According to Latin language, the expression is taken from two words. First word is called ex. Okay, crinere. According to Latin language, ex means out, crinere means shift. Means shifting out the waste material from the body to out. That is commonly called as excretion. Elimination of nitrogenous waste materials. So what kind of nitrogenous waste materials are eliminated from the body to out? There are basically three major kinds of waste materials are eliminated now. This is said to be this: urea, uric acid, ammonia. I told you previously, urea, uric acid and ammonia. Out of these three materials, ammonia is the most dangerous one rather than the remaining two. Approximately 1 lakh times dangerous than the remaining two components of ammonia. Clear? So the animals which executes their waste materials in the form of urea, that is commonly called as ureotelic animals. The animals which excrete their waste materials in the form of uric acid, those are called uricotelic animals. At the same time, the organisms are the animals which releases their waste materials in the form of ammonia. Okay, those are commonly called ammonotelic animals. Okay, ureotelic, uricotelic, and ammonotelic. Examples also already gave you in the previous classes. Once again, clearly. So that what kind of organs are present in the human being? Clearly. So human being have a pair kidneys are present. A pair one pair kidneys. See that? Kidneys are the excretory organs, are the chief organs of human being. One pair kidneys. You know clearly. One pair of kidneys are present in the dorsal side of the abdominal cavity. One on either side of the backbone. Clear? Just a small diagram to you for. See that? Which is the tubes are commonly connected with this renal artery and renal veins also. One pair of kidneys are present. The abdominal cavity of the dorsal side, one on either side of the backbone. See that? This is right part means this is left kidney. This is left part they commonly called as right kidney. Right kidney is something lower than the left kidney because due to the presence of liver above it. On the top of the kidney, a pair of glands. These are commonly called as adrenal glands are present here. Okay. These glands are directly involved in the process of endocrine system. Endocrine system. Okay. See that in the internal structure, internally, the kidneys have calyces-like structures, pyramid-like structures. Within the particular pyramid-like structures, there are several kinds of nephrons are present. Millions of nephrons, approximately 1.3 to 1.8 millions of nephrons are present, which are also called as structural and functional units of the kidney. Okay, these are also commonly called as renal tubules. Okay, that is called renal capsules and renal tubules. These two parts are also present in this particular one. Those are commonly called as the nephrons, which are structural and functional units of the kidney. And the internal structure of kidney also we know clearly now. So when the kidneys are present here like this, these are completely involved in the process of excretion. A fine structure, a microscopic fine structure called as the nephron, which may takes place in important process of elimination of nitrogenous waste material. Okay, so the all the nephrons are opens into the part is called as the pelvis. Okay, within the pelvis the parts are completely opens into the next part is commonly called as the ureters. The formation of urine also you know clearly. That should be involved by the 4 main steps. Okay. First one. Glomerular filtration. Okay. Tubular reabsorption. Tubular secretion. Concentration of urine. See that? Urine formation involved by 4 main steps. Glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and concentration of urine. Within the part of the nephron, due to the pressure of the narrowness of the efferent arteriole, EFFERNT, efferent arteriole, there is a great pressure is created. That particular pressure is commonly called as ultrafiltration. That particular pressure is called, particular pressure create a filtration called ultrafiltration. This particular ultrafiltration is done within the part and the first step is called as glomerular filtration. The primary urine is completely filtered within the part of the Bowman's capsule. Within that, waste molecules, water, and nutrient molecules are filtered here now. Within the second step, tubular reabsorption. From that particular PCT, most amount of nutrients are reabsorbed by the peritubular capillaries. Okay, so in that particular tubular reabsorption, some of the nutrients, mostly for example, here glucose, amino acids, okay, some of the proteins, vitamin C, potassium, these kinds of materials can automatically reabsorbed within the part of one. The remaining materials are also transported to the PCT to Henle's loop to DCT. Within the part of the DCT, once again some of the materials are not necessary, they can automatically sense. That step is commonly called tubular secretion. Unwanted materials, what they are present, that can automatically resend once again into the peritubular capillaries into DCT. These are commonly called creatine, creatinine, urea, uric acid, some salt ions like magnesium, iodine, potassium. These kinds of materials also can automatically enters into the DCT. Then automatically collecting by the last one is called as concentration of urine. So within the part of the DCT, the pH of urine and concentration of urine is automatically done here by having the separate kind of an hormone that is commonly called vasopressin. What is the importance of the vasopressin? When the persons are secretes concentrated urine, in that particular time the hormone vasopressin is released to dilute the urine itself now. The persons, those who are taking high amounts of water, the secretion of vasopressin is not necessary here. To dilute the urine, the vasopressin is automatically released. Due to the absence of vasopressin or due to the low secretion of vasopressin, the condition is commonly called diabetes insipidus. Within this particular condition, the persons released repeated urine, diluted urine, and excessive amounts of urine due to the lack or short secretion of vasopressin. Clear? Until that, the process of urine is complete. Mechanism of urine formation is clear. The next part is called as the ureter. These are the long tube-like structures, distensible tube-like structures. The length of the one is called 30 centimeters. One pair of ureters is opens into a separate sac is called as the urinary bladder. These are the medians which transports the urine from the pelvis to urinary bladder. The movement of urine within the ureter is called as peristalsis movement. When this opens into this particular urinary bladder, the urinary bladder can automatically stores the urine itself now. Clear? Next, the urinary bladder is a pear-shaped structure. Inverted pear-shaped structure. The capacity of the urinary bladder is nearly 300 to 800 ml. When the bladder is fulfills, okay, approximately 300 to 400 ml, there might be a contraction that takes place. After this, they can automatically send it to the last part is commonly called as urethra. Urethra has the two sphincters, whereas the length of the urethra is automatically, the length of the urethra is entirely different from male to female. The length of the urethra in females is 4 centimeters in length only, whereas in the males, it might be as 20 centimeters. It can also running through the penis also. That's why the length of the urethra in males is by 20 centimeters. Okay. Okay. At the end of the urethra, there is a two sphincter muscles, upper sphincter muscle and also the lower sphincter muscles. Upper sphincter muscle, when the bladder is fulfilled nearly by 300 to 400 ml of urine, upper sphincter muscle gets relaxed, whereas that can be completely under control by the autonomous nervous system, reflex action, like a reflex action, whereas the lower sphincter muscle gets completely under control by the brain. That is by our wish. When the person would like to release the urine, that is for micturition. Okay, the lower sphincter muscle also gets relaxed, then the urine should be passed out. But very young children, these two muscles also work as a involuntary. They can learn gradually by growing their age automatically. Okay, by growing their from youngers to elders now. Clear? So this is process commonly called as a micturition. So what kind of components are present in the urine? In the urine, there are three major components are present. Basically, urine is amber color due to the presence of a pigment called as urochrome. The urochrome pigment is produced from the destruction of red blood cells from the liver itself now. Okay, the amber color of the urine. The urine color is amber due to the presence of the pigment called as urochrome. Along with this particular one, there are three major components are present. Urine contains one more thing. The formation of urine is also depending upon the food materials what they are taken. The persons those who are taken high amounts of urine, high amounts of water, liquid materials, okay, are that just like this. Any fruit juices, any kind of one, they can release the more amount of urine itself now. Along with this, the persons consuming high amounts of proteins. High amount of protein can also deaminated in the part of the liver itself now. This can also increase the percentage of urine itself now. Okay, so the urine contains three major components. Okay, organic components, so organic substances, inorganic substances. And plus additional with 97% of water. Sorry, 96 to 97% is approximately. So here, organic substances nearly 2.5% of organic substances, 1.5% of inorganic substances. Okay, 96% of water, organic 2.5, and again inorganic approximately 1.5%. These two components also involve in the process, involve as a component of a urine itself now. So within the part of the organic substances, glucose materials, sugar molecules, okay, these are all mostly carbon compounds are present in this particular organic substances. Okay, so in the inorganic, for example, creatinine, these are all components one. Inorganic substances are solutes, some salt ions, mostly calcium and just like this, potassium, unwanted components of salt ions, this completely comes under the inorganic substances. So when the kidneys are works properly, okay, they can might be worked as in a proper manner. When the kidneys are fails to work, in that particular condition, the person is said to be, this condition is called as ESOD. That is called as end stage of renal disease. By chance, if the persons are suffering with any kind of an injuries or high blood pressure or any high blood pressure or high glucose levels, sugar levels in the blood, any accidents, it might be high sugar levels. In these conditions, the kidneys are fails to function properly. In that particular time, the person is said to be, the condition is commonly called as ESRD. In this particular time, accumulation of nitrogenous waste materials in the blood takes place. This can also result in the condition called uremia. What is the condition is called as? Uremia. Uremia means the extremities of the body, legs and hands automatically swells up. In this particular time, the persons need the process called as dialysis. Dialysis. What is meant by dialysis? You know clearly. Dialysis means this is a special device which can also filter the blood of the patients. It is also similar work of the kidney of a person, but except the reabsorption takes place. In the process, especially diffusion takes place in the part of the dialysis once again. Okay, even the dialysis process also not completely suitable for the particular person. There might be a second option. Next option is called as kidney transplantation. This is the permanent solution. Already, in 1954, Charles Safnagel first kidney transplantation takes place in USA, Washington. But in our country in 1971, at Vellore, Tamil Nadu, Christian Medical College, kidney transplantation takes place. So kidney transplantation means the donor must be compulsory close relative to the recipient to avoid the to minimize the rejection complication. Okay, that is the permanent solution of the particular one. That is called kidney transplantation. So these all organs are also involved in the process of excretion. So whatever it may be, the kidney is the chief organ. Along with kidney, in some more organs are also useful to the process of excretion. These are other pathways of excretion. Okay, first of all, lungs. Lungs can eliminate the excess amount of carbon dioxide from the body to out. Second one, skin. Skin contains two kinds of glands, sebaceous glands and also the sweat glands. Sweat glands secretes the sweat. Sebaceous glands secretes the sebum and oily glands and some additional amounts of steroidal hormones and some excess materials which can also not useful to the body. Clear? Unwanted vitamins also can like automatically eliminated now. So the skin is also eliminate some kinds of salt materials from the body out. Also a part of a excretory organ. The major organ is called as the liver. Liver is also the site for the destruction of red blood cells along with the spleen. That's why the spleen is also called as the graveyard of RBC. Liver secretes the substance called bile. Bile has bile salts, bile pigments, and 86% of water. Bile pigments like sodium, bilirubin, and biliverdin. Along with these two components, urochrome is also produced by the destruction of red blood cells. These components are also eliminated from the body to ouch as soon as possible or from time to time. So liver is also a main site for the formation of urea. That is the main point here. Liver is an excellent site for the formation of urea in the body itself now. Okay. So after that particular liver, last but not least, intestine, large intestine especially, they can also eliminate the waste material that is called unwanted material that is called fecal discharge, along with some amount of salts. Totally, these organs involved in, and still some more organs, two more organs. These are, for example, eyes. Eyes can also eliminate the tears, and again spitting that is called saliva. Through these process also we can eliminate a little bit amount of excretion. Okay, how the particular remaining organisms, they can eliminate the waste materials. That is called evolution. Already we know the complete table itself now from the protozoan onwards until the topic of the reptiles, birds, and mammals. Different kinds of organs are involved in the process of to eliminate the waste materials from the body to out. Okay, so along with this, how the plants can get rid of their waste materials. Clearly, plants doesn't have particular kind of organs to eliminate their waste materials, even though they can also eliminate their waste materials in the form of the dried leaves, dried bark, okay, in the form of the flowers, and sometimes in the form of the fruits also now. Okay, so along with this, still some more process: transpiration and guttation. Transpiration and guttation. So, additionally, some kinds of plants can also make the thorns. Some of the plants can also store their unwanted materials, unpalatable substances in their body itself. Okay, so these materials are also useful from their self-defense. Mostly herbivores completely keep away from the particular plants itself now. So whatever it may be, plants can eliminate their waste materials. So this kind of waste materials can also store in their body as a nitrogenous waste materials or a carbon compounds. Mostly herbivores completely keep away from this particular one. Okay. Next, plants can manage the two kinds of metabolites, primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. Proteins, carbohydrates, fats are primary metabolites. Those are directly involved in the process of growth and development of the plant one. Secondary metabolites are just like as alkaloids, tannins, resins, gums, latex. Okay, alkaloids are nitrogenous compounds, tannins are carbon compounds. These are mostly given as a table. Some of the alkaloids are completely useful to our body, some are can cause the toxins. Depending upon the how we are using, how we are maintaining this particular one, they can automatically use to our mankind, human welfare. Tannins are carbon compounds. They are deep brown in color. Okay, these are mostly used in the tanning of leather goods and also used in medicines. Resins extracted from the gymnosperms, especially from the pinus plants. These are mostly used for the making the varnishes. Yesterday I forgot the topic, you know. These are mostly resins are used for making of varnishing paints. Okay, gums, acacia, and neem plants. These gums are mostly used for making adhesives or binding agents, and also used in some confectionaries, making of some food products. Latex, it is a white color sticky like material. With making of this particular rubber is prepared from the Hevia braziliensis. One more best example for the coming generation, biodiesel. Okay, the seeds of the jatropha, which are also used for making the diesel, biodiesel, which is completely called as renewable resources. Okay, we can use these particular plants again and again. Coming generations are mostly depending upon this kind of one. Otherwise, there is no chance to non-renewable resources like petrol and diesel also. Okay, so along with this, last, what is meant by secretion and excretion? So that excretion, secretion. Excretion is a passive process. Secretion is an active process. Because excretion means elimination of waste material from the body to out. There is no chance of use this kind of materials when they are excreted from the body, either plants or in the animals. Whereas secretion means a kind of a material, a kind of a substance is produced from one place that should be transported to one more place. This particular hormone or enzyme still making something work has to be done in that particular site. So, for example, excretion in the plants, shedding of the leaves, shedding of the bark, I understand. For example, in the animals, shedding of the tears, shedding of the sweat, I mean, releasing of the urine, shedding of the sweat and releasing of urine. Okay, tears. Okay, this is commonly called as excretion. And again, secretion. Secretion in plants, for example, hormones and enzymes. Of course, in animal body also, several kinds of enzymes, several kinds of hormones, digestive enzymes, reproductive enzymes. These are all can automatically released in a particular time to time. They can automatically taken to a particular sites. They can show their particular action in that particular tissues or in the targeted organs. Okay, that's why the excretion is called as the passive process. Secretion is called as an active process. Are you clear? Understand? Okay. So the next topic we will discuss later. In coming topic is that is one is called as coordination. Okay. Thank you.